Welcome back. We're going to look at adding a bathroom to our bungalow design in this video. And to get started, we're going to open up the first floor plan. And what we can see here is the plan's been updated from our previous video. We added the kitchen and all the elements for it. And now we're going to tackle the bathroom. So in this file, there'll be a full bathroom in this room, and then there'll be a powder room over here. And this powder room, if we zoom in, we can notice that it's actually carpeted right now. That's something I'm going to want to change over to the VCT, the vinyl composite tile, but I'll save that for a later date. So focusing on the full bath, I will need a tub, I'll need a toilet, and I'll need a sink, right? Those are the components we need to fill out a normal bathroom. And I'd like to start with the biggest component first. It helps me lay out the space, understand what needs to fit where. So that'll be the tub for me. So I'm going to go to component, and from the drop down menu, I'm going to look for tub. So I've got this option for a tub, rectangular 3D. That works for me. I'm going to start placing this in my bathroom. And what you'll notice is there's a little drain hole in this tub. You can see it just to the left and above my cursor. And that needs to be against the wall. So that's where your plumbing is, that's your drain. And the faucet and everything like that would be on the same end of the tub as that drain. So I can see that we need to flip this tub around. So I'm gonna use the space bar to flip it. So you can see it's flipped 180 degrees. And I do want it to fit right nicely into this corner. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you have to roughly place it and then go in and move it later. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to hit escape twice and zoom in. See how the placement went? It looks like it's right nestled into this corner of the room, so I'm happy with that. And the next thing I'm going to do is place the toilet. And again, we're going to go component, and from the drop down, we're going to scroll up here till we see toilet. There's one option, and we will use it. Clearly, that orientation is not going to work for us, so we're going to flip this around by hitting the space bar a couple of times, and we want this toilet to be right against our wall. If I zoom in, hit escape first. If I zoom in, I want to click on the toilet. Just make sure it's sitting right against the drywalled surface of my wall, which it is. So I'm relatively happy in that respect, but what I would like to do is make sure that this toilet is centered in the opening between the tub and the wall. So I do have some temporary dimensions. I could change that if I wanted to. Unfortunately, it doesn't give me a temporary dimension over here on the right to tell if I'm centering this up. So what I'm going to do is I am going to just hit escape. I'm going to go to the quick dimension toolbar. I want a dimension from the wall to the center of the toilet. I can see that's 1'8", and I want to find out what this value is. I can place that dimension. I can see that I've got about a 2-inch discrepancy here, so I divide that by 2. I'm going to add 1 inch. I'm going to hit escape first. I'm going to pre-select the toilet, and this dimension 1'8", I'm going to bump that up to 1'9". And you can see I've got 1'9" and 1'9" and 1/8. I am not going to worry about 1/8 of an inch. If you walk into the bathroom, you'd never notice that. So I'm happy with this. And these dimensions I don't really need anymore, so I'm just going to delete those. Next, we need to start thinking about the vanity and where that's going to go. So I only really have space right here to place my vanity. I do have door swing occupying a good portion of this wall, so I'm kind of limited to this area. Again, we're going to go to components, and we're going to see what's available. So if I scroll down and I want to look for vanity, there's 2 options. So this is a double door sink unit. I've got a 4-foot, which is 48 inches, and a 3-foot model. I can go with the smaller one, knowing that my space isn't huge. Okay, so I'm going to place that. I don't really know, based on this floor plan view, how this is oriented. So good idea to take a look at the 3D view and orbit around and do a quick zoom in and see what's going on. So I can see I've got the doors pointing the way I want them. So I'm happy. I'm going to go back to the first floor and work with that. Okay. One thing that you have to be aware of is space. In my bathroom, I've got this toilet here and then the vanity. So it looks a little tight between the vanity and the toilet. So that's definitely something I want to check. I'm going to use this quick measurement tool. I can go to the front of the toilet and go look at the vanity. I can see that's 11 inches, almost 12 inches, so almost a foot. That doesn't meet code. You actually need more room so you can get on and off the toilet easily. And code says you need to have at least 21 inches, okay, between these two things or in front of the toilet. So we need to modify something. What we'll modify is the vanity. If I pre-select it, I can see over here in the properties menu, I have the option to edit type, and this pulls up a dialog screen, and I can edit the depth of this. Okay. Before I edit just the standard unit, I'm going to make a copy of it so I know I need some modifications. I'm going to call this 36 inches modified. Okay. And down here are my dimensions. I'm going to take a look. I want to find width. We're going to adjust that. Okay, we're going to knock that down to about 1'6". On space 6 is what I entered on my keyboard. I'm going to click OK. And now we got our vanity decreased in depth, which is going to allow some clearance between the toilet and the vanity. So the next step of the process, if we look at this, we've got a big open top in our vanity. What's missing is a countertop. So similar to the kitchen, we need to add a countertop at this point, and then we'll follow that up with a sink. If I go to component, I'm going to see what's available. I got this 24-inch depth unit. Okay. And I'm going to place this right in the corner, and we'll hit escape, and let's see what we've done. So here we are. We've got the countertop on top of the vanity cupboard base cabinet, and we can see this raised area of the countertop. That's our backsplash that we definitely want touching the wall like it's oriented, but we know we need to make some adjustments to the size of this thing. So go back to the floor plan view, and this hole in the center, you probably know, is for the sink. I'm just going to roughly put that into position, and over here on the triangles on the right, we're going to grab that and just make it a little bit longer than our cabinets. And it escapes, see what's going on. Okay, I can see that the whole unit's moved. So I'm going to try to move that a bit. Grab it down here because I can see it. I'm going to pull it this way. I can move it again by grabbing here and just get it right in that corner. Okay. So next, we're going to hit escape. I'll look at this one more time. Clicking this sink opening. I'm going to adjust the size of this. I'm going to approximately try to center it. Now, one thing you're going to notice is the countertop wants to move with it, which can be kind of annoying. But we'll keep going with it until we have it right. Okay, so you can see it's moved out a bit. So I'm actually going to put this a little off center. So when I move the countertop again to the right, I have that sink opening more appropriately positioned. So go to the move tool again, get back in the corner, and we're kind of fighting this thing, but we'll keep going. Let's adjust the overall length. Just this here. This is the part that I think is kind of screwing me up right now. Try this one here. Still going. Again, I need to check this sink, and I can see, again, it's shifted just to being into the wall here on my left. So we're going to use, again, the move tool and click here and kind of bring it out. All right, so sink opening. And finally, I think I'm happy with that. I've got the overhang on the right that I'm after, but I don't have any grips And when I say grips, I mean those blue triangles to adjust this edge of the countertop. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it selected. I'm going to come up here and I'm going to edit the type. And I'm going to make another copy of it so I know I modified the standard unit. So we'll call that modified and we'll click OK and OK. I'm going to edit the type. We're going to come down to the depth and we want to make this just a little bit deeper than our cabinet that's below it. So if you recall, our cabinet below it is 1 foot 6 inches. So we're going to make this 1 foot 7 inches and click OK. So now I'm relatively happy with that. I'm going to click outside of it. And finally, I'm going to add the sink to this. Use the drop down and we're going to scroll up, find sink. Okay, we got this sink vanity square. It's going to be a decent option for us. And we can roughly center that up. Hit escape twice. One thing we notice is that the sink is a little large for this vanity. It extends almost from the front to the back. So I'd like to change the size of this unit. So I'm going to click on it. I'm going to go again to edit type. I'm going to make a copy of it. And I'm going to call this 20 by 18 modified. And this word modified is just a signal to me as I go in the future that I've made some changes to the standard dimensions, which are 20 by 18. I want to know, so I'm aware that when I see this again, those dimensions might have changed a little bit. I'm going to change the depth here. We're just going to take about 2 inches off and see what that gives us. So I click OK. That kind of fits better. I might try to shift this up a little bit, but you can see it kind of snaps right to the backsplash. I'm going to come back down with it a little bit. I'm going to go right there. We'll leave it at that. Click away. Let's always, as is our standard practice, take a look and see how this looks. So we can see we've got some interference with the hole in the countertop and the sink we added. So we're going to adjust that finally, and then we should be good to go. So here's my sink opening. I'm going to grab the grips, which are the blue triangles, the sink opening. And we're just going to make it the same size as our sink. So I think this bottom one should finish that off. Or look at the top, it's bigger than the sink. I'm pretty happy with that. I honestly don't really want to mess with this opening anymore. So I'm going to click away and we'll have another look. So this looks decent, right? We can kind of zoom out, orbit around, see what we've done. And there's my toilet. And just orbiting around a little bit more, we can take a little peek into the bathroom. This looks good. Okay, so we'll go back to the first floor. We'll stop the video here and pick it up in the next video.